coronavirus is officially a pandemic, steadily spreading around the world.
See, this is a disease which actually spreads with the contact, spreads with the distance.
The scale and impact of pandemic has changed over the last 1.5 years, and we have been working on what a country would need next and where we should be prepared at.
See, products are like language. Every society develops their own language. Similarly, every society develops their own products.
Indians have been part of global products. India hasn't been. COVID-19 gave us the platform to make them aware that there is an Indian company which can do wonders. You need to bring the power to the people to do the testing themselves. Because if there is a pandemic, this will help India.
Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Indian ingenuity and innovation has fueled a resolute defense against the deadly virus. Take Pune-based Mylab Discovery Solutions, a young biotechnology company that has emerged as the leader in molecular diagnostics, something India needed in the current scenario. I am Richa Dwivedi and welcome to New India Junction. Today, my colleague Ridhima Pathak takes us all the way to Pune, Maharashtra to Mylab. Mylab may very well become the latest unicorn in India's thriving startup space. Let's see what the minds behind this avant-garde venture have to say. Over to you, Ridhima.
COVID-19 didn't give us time to prepare. It didn't wait for us to develop vaccines, and nor did it halt its spread till the time we developed tests. And let's just face it, this is a story across the world, everywhere. Now, all of us have heard the phrase that modern problems require modern solutions. And the novel coronavirus is the biggest problem that the world is facing as we speak. Wouldn't you agree? Well, namaskar, my name is Ridhima Pathak, and today we are headed to Mylab Discovery Solutions. And just so you know, this is the team responsible not just for the very first indigenous RT-PCR tests, but also for CoviSelf, which is India's very first COVID-19 test kit for self-use.
I used to travel a lot across India, and I saw that diagnostics, we still lack in that, because healthcare worldwide, if you kind of find out the prognosis happens on time, that will happen only if you do the diagnosis on time. And that was not happening in India. So a lot of patients, they get healthcare late, and that's why the cases, they deteriorate or they become severe. And I thought, we have to take diagnostics to the masses.
The problem which country like us faces, I think it's a global problem. And if we can solve any problem for the masses, I think then the whole globe is an opportunity.
We want something which can be used by the common man of India. So motto is always something which is useful for the commoner in price and in quality. Quality has to be international standard, price has to be Indian standard.
Just to give you an idea, Mylab as a company that holds the potential to become one of the most dynamic names in molecular diagnostics is just around 8 years old. But it has already, on more than one occasion, become the pioneer in creating a stronger, safer responses when faced with infectious diseases. More importantly, here is a company that is in all respects 100% Indian. Got Mylabs, which has come up with India's first indigenous RT-PCR tests, and now CoviSelf and COVID testing kits. Clearly, you're all about India's first and India's best.
So I'll be very frank, I never came first in my life. I believe in the best, even if we are second. Right. So we were first, and we are glad to be the first. But I also feel that you should be the best, not just first.
We were the first company to bring in real-time PCR test, indigenous real-time PCR test to India against COVID. Real-time PCR is a gold standard that is here. But only problem with real-time PCR test is it is limited by the centers where you can do real-time PCR test. It is basically lab test.
Mylab was the first Indian company to get the rapid antigen test last year. But the RT-PCR test and the rapid antigen test that were there in the market, these were lab-based tests, or it needed a lab technician to do the test. How do you increase testing? Globally, tracing, testing, and treatment. These 3 T's have helped, manage the pandemic. I won't say solve. No one can solve the pandemic. Japan is having its 4th wave and it's devastated. And so we thought, how do we empower people? How do we help states unlock?
So we want to give this power to the individuals where they will be able to do the testing themselves. And now we have seen that as the wave might reach tier 2, tier 3 cities and villages where the labs have not reached but the phones have. So we think that product like CoviSelf will be able to give you the affordable testing also, which will be faster, where you will be able to test faster, get isolated faster and get treated faster.
The latest product that has reinvigorated India's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic is CoviSelf, the at-home rapid antigen self-test kit. The anxiety that develops when you first start showing the symptoms of COVID-19, and then the wait to get yourself tested, and then the fear that your loved ones might catch it from you during this interim. All of us have gone through the stress, and thankfully, so did the geniuses from Mylab.
We want to make something which is very easy, where a grandmother with 80-year-old or a 18-year-old boy at a village will be able to do it easily, with safe and with confidence on the quality. And that is where we have been working on to innovate product like CoviSelf, which can be addressing the needs.
With CoviSelf, we'll now be able to determine if we are at risk. The isolation protocol needed to stop the spread of the deadly virus can come into effect much sooner. And all it takes is 20 minutes, as it becomes available at our local chemists. This is exactly what we would need to equip ourselves with.
CoviSelf. Please test yourself by yourself. Use Mylab CoviSelf app to report test results.
Making this solution simple was what India needed. But to say that it was far more complicated than it appears would be the understatement of the century. Lakhs of tests, countless changes, a million tweaks and innumerable man-hours went into making India's first self-use COVID-19 test. Catering to India's vast demography, even for a well-established company, is no piece of cake. For a budding startup, it's next to impossible. But how was Mylab able to reverse this well-established fact?
So how much do you think will this reduce the burden on our healthcare services?
It's not only about the testing infrastructure. I think we also need healthcare professionals to do the testing, and they cannot just scale up overnight. You need to bring the power to the people to do the testing themselves. I think a product like CoviSelf will be able to do it.
But if they stopped here, it wouldn't be befitting of a multi-million-dollar unicorn, would it? What if I told you about a compact machine that is developed indigenously, can be fit on a table and runs multiple RT-PCR tests and can be easily operated? Well, that is exactly what Compact XL machine developed by Mylab does.
Mylab then developed mobile testing vans, again in record time. Armed with these new machines, these labs could reach areas where COVID-19 testing was inadequate and deliver results in short time spans.
Compact XL was an idea that Hasmukh had 5 years ago, and he used to go and tell people invest in this company because if there is a pandemic, this will help India.
The basic problem is the manpower, the machines, the setup, the real estate and so many more. So we started working on a project where whole lab we wanted to bring in a box. This is a 4-year-old 4 year of research where we could bring a machine called Compact XL, which does everything which a whole lab will do. Because of its compactness, we can bring it in any mobile van and just deploy it at tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
So that Compact XL I knew is the, a 700 square feet a lab which needed 5 people. This machine, it converted into a 4x6 desktop and one person can handle it. Now imagine the impact you can create in a country like India because of this machine. We will start with COVID. We've got tuberculosis, we've got malaria, we've got dengue, we've got AIDS, we've got HIV, we've got HPV, and so many diseases that we can take care of by putting compact XL in every district, every town of India.
A fact often overlooked is the efforts being made right here at home. But it is the times of pressure that give us such precious entities like Mylab. Not only was the focus on providing high-end diagnostic solutions to Indians, it was also on making India tap into its potential. Consider the developments that predate the pandemic. Over to Ridhima.
Mylab is actually Asia's first company to get approval for individual donor nucleic acid test, or ID-NAT. Its easy to use and affordable pricing has made it a benchmark for screening blood samples for transfusions by detecting traces of pathogens like HIV, hepatitis B and C.
These have enabled India to not only match the global standards, it has empowered small labs across India to maintain affordable prices and yet make the entire process remarkably safer.
NAT test, globally, all developed and developing countries, NAT test is compulsory because the amount of deaths that we have due to HIV and HBV, HCV, Hasmukh must have spoken to you about it. And we had this solution at a much cheaper price, but we didn't have any platforms to take that.
Understanding the problems and pain points of a 1.4 billion strong nation is not everybody's cup of tea. But when it comes to India, a country that we all love and admire so much, no problem is a bit too difficult. There's something that I've noticed, that these are all high-end diagnostic solutions for the masses. How important is this connection?
So that itself is the vision of the company. When we started, we left our jobs in multinational which were very comfortable, and we started something where we wanted to bring high-end affordable diagnostic to the masses, and making a social impact is very important in whatever we deliver.
But the ball doesn't stop rolling just with COVID-19. In fact, it began rolling much before. When faced with negligible investments and mounting loans, it would have been easy to give up and lay down arms. But heroes never emerge when the stakes are easy. Mylab took up this challenge too and diverted its revenues to develop a state-of-the-art research and development division. This would become the epicenter of ingenuity, the place where dedication and commitment would result in solutions tailor-made for India.
So, we were inspired by our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Ji Modi's Atmanirbhar Bharat vision, and creating a social impact is very important for Mylab. And one of the aspects of the social impact is to make India self-reliant, self-dependent, and create export replacements so that we don't have to depend upon international companies, multinational companies to make our products.
So Hasmukh, as per my knowledge, the components that have been used in the machines are all developed in India. Does that sink in with the Made in India campaign, and was that the thought behind it?
So I feel we are truly an Atmanirbhar company. We had to do it because to bring the social impact which we wanted to bring, it would not happen without the Made in India components to it, because affordability is a very important aspect along with the quality when it comes with like developing country like us. We have already proved the way number of people have been tested in India by indigenous kits. We have also proved in terms of vaccines the way the scale country like us is manufacturing, nobody else has even capabilities. So solutions like diagnostics where company like us are working, I think India is just a beginning. We are looking at a global market.
Our vision is not just for India now. We are looking for the world.
So go west and go east, and I'll tell you, Mylab will be the first Indian company which will take some amazing technologies outside India in the field of diagnostics and molecular diagnostics.
The gap between expensive diagnostic services available only in larger cities and the masses in areas that needed it the most had widened significantly over the last half a century. That is particularly what drove its founders away from well-paying jobs in high-profile multinational corporations and towards making India-centric diagnostic solutions.
I'm sure this journey had a lot of challenges. Could you tell me some of them?
So a lot of challenges. First and foremost, to make people believe. Even probably a couple of weeks before COVID hit India, we were going to people that we've got this machine and people were not interested. Oh, wow. So, the challenge of making a new market understand what you've developed, the biggest challenge.
There was a time when you had no investors and today you're providing solutions for the globe. How proud are you?
Yes, we are very proud, and I think I'm proud of the team who have believed in it. There have been times where we were maxed out of our homes, our loans and all. We have taken loans at almost 24 to 25% of interest and still we could survive the situation.
But the government of India last year, they've come out with some amazing policies for Atmanirbhar Bharat, where a tender up to 200 crore, if you have an Indian company, you have to give them the right to match the lowest price, or you have to give them the first option. If it's an export replacement, you have to give them the option. That is helping us, and it was not there. It was not there for last 5 years. For every penny, we were struggling. We were struggling for business. We were struggling for funds. Struggling for everything.
I always tell my team as well, this is something like an iPod movement for Apple. They had many products. They had phones. They have computers, but iPod is something which made them famous. I think COVID products from Mylab has made us famous, but I think we have many more better products than COVID, which would help to save many lives.
Adar Poonawala from Serum, he's an investor. He saw the entire presentation, but when he saw the presentation of the machine, his eyes lit up and he's like, this is a winner, I will invest in.
What we strongly believe is the products made in developed world for the developed population cannot just come as it is in country like us and expected to solve the problems for the country. The local problems will be only solved by local solutions, and self-reliance is something which will take us to solve the problem for a country. We salute and respect the vision of PM Modi sir from local to global, and I think we'll continue to make progress in this line and help a country to move towards healthier India.
We Indians are the best business people in the world, I can assure you. I have contacted with Chinese, I have contacted with Koreans, I have interacted with Europeans, Americans. The kind of talent, the kind of understanding, the kind of sense Indian has is unmatchable. So I feel India will be the global hub of molecular biology solutions.
COVID-19 gave us the platform to make them aware that there's an Indian company which can do wonders.
This innovation, this drive, this dedication is driving India's efforts towards goals that until a decade ago were a distant reality. The unparalleled commitment of new age entities like Mylab is poised not only to carve a niche for themselves in the global market, but also to raise the bar. We want to be providers of solutions worldwide. This is a country, we've got the mass for it, we've got the brains for it. Is this the beginning?
It is the beginning of a new India.
The focus of a company has always been what a country would be needing next.
So high-end, usable, simple, that is the mantra of diagnostic tests today.
We'll create the Pfizers and Modernas of the world.
This is India of today, hard at work and committed at creating opportunities, so that the India of tomorrow not only succeeds, but also emerges as a source of inspiration for countries across the world.